One of the biggest names in the preseason rankings this year is Clemson Football, and it appears Dabo Swinney has his best roster in several years. We're going to bring on my favorite Clemson podcaster next. His name is Brian. He's going to get us all squared away on what is going on over there in Clemson, South Carolina. Next on the College Huddle. Brian, welcome back to the College Huddle, my friend. We're bringing you in to talk a little Clemson football here. My dude, it has been an off season, and you have had quite a bit of content to talk about there in Clemson, South Carolina.
Well, hey, normally I'm talking about stuff that's ticking off everyone in Clemson, and now they think that I've went on some type of antidepressant and the world is better. No, a lot of good things have happened to Clemson since the end of the football season, and I mean that's what happens. I become more optimistic because a lot of the right pieces are in place. So yeah, a lot of good things are happening in Clemson.
Yeah, when I tune into your channel, I'm not seeing the same vinegar and disdain for several of the sunshine pumpers in Clemson, South Carolina, that you tend to try to deliver some hard truths to. It seems like you are a much happier man, and rightfully so. Clemson is just about on everybody's top five, top 10 lists preseason. Of course, you made the inaugural college football playoff, 12 team playoff last year. And so it appears that the majority of the roster that was that made that team and was effective for getting the team to that point and winning the ACC is back again and ready to rock and roll. And it seems Dabo's got a little bit more of a giddy up in his step lately as well. So let's start there, man. Let's start with the end of last season and kind of the overview of how that season ended and maybe the positivity of, hey, this is where we're at, but this is where we could be going into 2025.
I think last season, the very end of it, maybe go back a few weeks into the latter part of the regular season is a great place to start because it ends up setting up the hiring of Tom Allen. Okay, so we started the season with Georgia, lost by 31 points, won several games after that. Everyone started feeling better. Then we lose for the first time at night since like 2013. We have not lost at night in Death Valley since 2013. We lost to Louisville. Go a few more, 3 weeks, something like that. We play Citadel. The Citadel, they're a little military school out of beautiful Charleston, South Carolina. They come to Clemson. They have a losing record. They rushed for almost 300 yards on Clemson in Death Valley. Now, Clemson beat the crap out of them. And then the next week, Clemson could not tackle South Carolina's highly touted quarterback, Lenoris Sellers. The guys, I mean, Gamecock or not, the guy can play. And then, we win the ACC championship. It was odd how we won it because we jumped out in front of SMU really quick and we're feeling good. And then our defense let them back in the game. Got to the first round of the college football playoff, played at Texas. Probably the best showing of a Garrett Riley offense against a good team ever since he's been at Clemson, excuse me. But our defense was the problem. I think they allowed over 300 yards rushing right off the top of my head, somewhere around there. So Dabo ends up firing Wes Goodwin, hiring Tom Allen. I was extremely happy with the hire. On top of that, our recruiting is going well. And I think the position, and probably where you're probably looking at it from your point of view, what is Dabo doing? Dabo is bringing in better coaching. He brought in Matt Luke last year. He brought in Garrett Riley. I still have some reservations about him, but this year will be a telltale for him a few years ago. And, of course, bringing in Tom Allen. He is replacing guys who, a lot of them had never coached before at this level. Some of them had never coached before, but they were former Clemson players. That experiment, as good as it was, I'm not going to take a bunch of jabs at him. It did not work out for him. It
Right.
didn't. So I think he's learned his lesson. I also think with his approach to NIL, setting up, he's right now they're working on this initiative, I guess you could call it, to have all the players paid, and then of course push for the NIL opportunities. And of course, Cade does quite well for himself. I mean, you look at like top 10 NIL earners, Cade Klubnik is there. So it's not like Dabo's not letting anyone make money as much as the media would like to twist it that way. But that's really helped us in recruiting. And now, right now, we're ranked number 4 in the 2026 class. Yesterday, we actually received our highest rated recruit for that class and a commitment. So there's something that he's doing, but I think he's just getting. I won't say that he wasn't in a championship mindset, but his actions was not there. Here we are today, and it looks like those actions are back, and that's why everyone's excited.
Yeah. Now you brought up NIL. Obviously, that and the transfer portal have been hot button issues for him. I took a quick glance at the transfer portal. Yeah, you get 3 guys, okay, in the transfer portal. That's 3 more than I think Dabo probably wanted to bring in, but it is 3 that he brought in, but you only lose 8, right? So it's not
Right.
like you know a huge turnover on the roster through the transfer portal. Um, it 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 would appear from the outside that Dabo has gotten to this point kicking and screaming, but he's finally gotten to this point. Is that a fair assumption, or is that unfair of me to say?
Oh man, I'm gonna make some enemies here. I mean, you can't blame a guy
There's no
who.
enemies here at the college huddle,
Yeah, yeah,
okay?
I know that. I know that. I'm talking about some of the Clemson fans who's like, I thought he was finally happy, and now he's being a jerk again. Yeah, it's hard to criticize a guy who got to 6 consecutive college football playoffs and
Right.
won 2 national championships in 3 years. It's hard to do that. Like it's easy to do that, but it's hard to do that. And so, um, it did seem like Dabo tried an experiment of we're just going to keep it in the family here. And one time I was really angry and just said, if you drove through Clemson, he's probably going to hire you. And it didn't work. It really, really didn't work. And we know that Dabo made some comments about, hey, if they start paying players, basically I'm going to get out of coaching or something like that. Well, guess what? He's still earning his $11.5 million per year. He's still coaching at Clemson, and players are being paid. His players are being paid. So I think that in between that probably alpha male, I've had a ton of success, I've made ungodly money, I've been to the top of the mountain more times than most people has even considered scaling the mountain. It's kind of hard for a guy like that to change. But I always said that if he did change, if he did look and say, hey, man, this experiment with especially the coaches is the biggest thing, Eric, that brought Clemson down. It was. And I can draw you out the timeline. And unfortunately, it parallels the whole NIL transfer portal thing. But I can promise you, I can make it so simple a 5-year-old can say it. It was about that time he started having some coaches leave, taking other jobs, and he started replacing them with guys who had never coached before. And that's going to bite you in the butt. Now the change we see, even the big recruit we got yesterday, I think his name's Leo Delaney, is a big offensive lineman. He said, Matt Luke is the reason I'm coming to Clemson. I saw what he's done, the players that he's put in the NFL. I want to be one of those guys. That is the difference now. Is Dabo, it just seems like whatever it takes within good ethical means, please be ethical means, that's what we're going to do, and we're going to get Clemson back to a championship contender. Now, I'm not saying Clemson's going to win a national championship this year, but this is hands down, piece by piece, probably the best team he has had since 2018, 2019.
Okay. Well, that's that's fair. I think that is fair. So, um, the roster. Let's talk a little bit about the roster this year because you brought up Cade Klubnik. He's obviously a Heisman front runner in a lot of people's minds, which between you, me, and those who are watching this podcast, I for the longest time feel like the Heisman Trophy has been a beauty pageant more
Sure.
so than who's the best player in college football because not more times than not that's going to go to the unsexy player. It's going to go to an offensive lineman. It's going to go to a defensive lineman. It's going to go to a linebacker, right? As opposed to who's the most popular, who's got the most Twitter followers now, right?
Right.
but
Yeah.
or who seems to appease the media the most.
Yeah.
But Cape Klubnik is there. He's one of those guys going into the season. Now, obviously, there's a lot more than just Cape Klubnik on this roster that's giving the Clemson
Mm.
fans a lot of hope for a return to college championship glory in 2025. But is it just as simple enough as you've got the right coaches in place who have developed this talent now, and couple that with NIL that's been able to keep this talent in Death Valley? Is that where we're at now with Clemson?
I would say yes and no. And I really want to hedge my comment with a very negative one. Here we go again, but you'll see what I'm talking about here. Um, Expectation is a compliment, and if anyone they really don't have the expectation of you, it's because they think you're a loser. So that's one. I always think about that. Um, and expectation a lot of times is built off of having most of the right pieces. You don't have to perfectly have all the right pieces. I think definitely bringing in Matt Luke and fixing our offensive line. Eric, our offensive line was terrible. Terrible. Like, imagine terrible, go down the road, set that dumpster on fire, and then we're there. That's how bad it was. The vast majority of these guys will play this coming season. One of them is a projected first round draft pick. Was there during that time. Matt Luke turned them around that quick. That is the difference in having a true specialist come in and coach a unit. And because of that, I'll give you some. I'll give you some of the pieces here of why I am expecting Clemson to do pretty well. It's nice when the media says nice things about your team, but we both know that to get a story, they'll say anything. I mean, they're still trying to figure out how they can milk Colorado for another good story. So I'm not worried. Yeah. Anyway, but why I'm excited and why a lot of people, some people, for whatever reason, is excited. You have around 8 starters returning on the offensive side of the football. 4 out of 5 offensive linemen return. The wide receivers that tore it up last year, the true freshmen from last year, T.J. Moore and Bryant Wesco Jr., they're back. Antonio Williams, he's the old man of the group, and he's a senior. The guy's slot receiver, he's fantastic. Talking about the transfer portal. The first transfer portal guy that Dabo went and got that was not a grad assistant that was coming to Clemson just to be around, the program, was a guy named Tristan Smith. Got him out of FCS, and we're all scratching our head going, why did he get him? This guy's like 6'5", 200 pounds. In the spring game, yes, a glorified practice, but the heat was on. He had over 130 yards receiving in that game with Wesco and Moore and Antonio Williams on the field. The guy can play. The wide receiver room looks incredible. Going back to Cade Klubnik, let's look at a guy who was 45-0 in 6A Texas football. He played for Westlake. I mean, they played their state championships in the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. This guy came into Clemson probably the most ill-prepared by his coaching staff. Any quarterback that Dabo Swinney has had since he's been there. I will go down saying that double whatever is in my bank account and put it on that statement because the guy just came in at a weird time. And instead of tucking his tail and hitting the transfer portal, he's just came in and he's just balled. And Cade Klubnik, is he the greatest quarterback that Clemson's ever had? No, because Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson has something to say about that. But this guy, he can play, he can run, he can throw. He kind of looks boyish. He looks like a kid still. The guy can play. And I think you take that mixture of the offensive linemen, the wide receivers, our running back room, everybody thinks that we're deplete there. We just have some young players there, but they're really good. You put that together, and then on top of that, the cherry on top. This is year 3 for Garrett Riley. And Garrett Riley has a lot to prove, man. He's the one I'm holding my breath on. And I'll get to him in a second, Eric. But that's the reason why I'm excited offensively. Defensively, I could stop at Tom Allen because I know who he has, like Peter Woods, T.J. Parker, Avion Terrell. I mean, he's got some studs on that side of the football. So it makes me feel good about the pieces. But having the coaching, and we still, I think, need to make some changes in the coaching department. But just the pieces that we have there now with Allen and Luke, I'm telling you, man, that's the reason why I'm excited. And I think the NIL and his adjustment, Dabo's adjustment to NIL, I think that it is making him more competitive.
Excellent. All right. So off season, obviously going well, a lot of momentum. Let's talk a little bit about expectations.
Sure.
Um, you've got a very interesting game in week one that I can't wait for. LSU and uh, this one is this a neutral site game or a home game?
No, it's in Clemson, 7:30.
Okay.
Yeah, on Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. I thought so. I wanted to make sure. You know how the SEC is. Sometimes
yeah,
they
yeah,
they call a neutral site game, but in their own state. It's like, okay, come on,
yeah.
guys. Looking at
Yeah,
you first.
play Georgia in Atlanta, and then they're like, "You realize how long it takes me to drive to Atlanta?" And it's like it's still in Georgia, pal.
Yeah,
Anyway,
they live on the other side of the city. I gotcha. But my point is this is going to be a great measuring stick game.
yeah, yeah.
Great measuring stick game for is Clemson. Are they who the national media thinks they could be? We're going to find out against LSU. Now, LSU, I think they have the most overrated football coach in college football, in my opinion, and that is a statement for me. Yeah, Brian Kelly, I think he was overrated at Notre Dame. I think he's overrated at LSU. I think half the LSU fan base would agree with me on that one. Uh, we're gonna find out. I think this is a great measuring stick game for Clemson. Um, you've got what is that? I want to say
Troy.
Troy. Thank you.
Yeah.
You got Troy next. Then you jump into the ACC before you take on. Is it Fordham? Is
No,
down there
no,
at
that's
the or full? Or who are they?
Georgia Tech. You have Georgia
No, no, no,
Tech
no, no,
next.
no. At the end of the season, non-conference.
Oh, non-conference.
Is it
Furman. They're
Furman?
out of
I was
They're out of
close.
Greenville. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right, Furman. What a name. And then of course the in-state rival. Those are the non-conference schedule. Of course, eight ACC games in the middle there. But let's take the first two, and obviously, let's just concentrate on LSU.
Sure.
Huge measuring stick game. If LSU's get you, it's not the end of the world. Obviously, we live in a different world today. But I have to imagine, based on how that game looks, the Clemson fan base is going to go one of two ways here. Am I right or am I wrong about that?
It's according to who you talk to. For
Okay,
me, I hate to lose. I mean, like
right?
I really hate to lose. But being logical, if this is a really close game and LSU goes on to be a really good football team, you lose by 7 points or less, you're like, oh, so they're really good. They didn't go into the SEC and lose 5 games, and they beat us by 3 points. They actually win it. They go in, they do really, really well. It's a little more palatable. But here's the problem, and that's me being generous right there. That's
Hmm.
my generous side saying that. The problem that I have with that is that I do look at the pieces that Clemson has, and then I look at LSU. They have not won a season opener in the past 5 years.
Well,
Okay, the
again,
past, yeah, the yeah, the past 5 years, and then they're going to be playing at Death Valley. I look at Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly. I'll say this. I just don't see the fit with him there at LSU, and I think a lot of LSU fans really don't see that. But coming back to Clemson and LSU, It's interesting because I think that's really where the problem started back in 2019. Clemson loses the national championship to Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Terrace Marshall, Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
You don't have
And,
to remind me how you got there.
and that, oh, well, I do remember that. But unfortunately, here's what's crazy. And this is one of those negative moments that's just true. And I wish it weren't true for Clemson. If you go back to that national championship that night, and you come to this time right now and you look back through history, if my memory serves me correct, Clemson has one top 10 win since then. And it was against Notre Dame in 2023. Clemson scaled to the top by beating everyone they were supposed to beat and then beating the teams they were not supposed to beat. And then Dabo took over. He did his thing, was a pain in the butt for Nick Saban. Now we're sitting here going, dude, the big game has been a problem for us. Played Georgia last year, opening game, 34-3. Here's a little asterisk here, and this is what I want to talk about Garrett Riley, but this totally leads into this game, Eric. Garrett Riley, in the last two times he's played Georgia, once was in the national championship, or if you want to call it that, against Georgia, and he was with TCU, and then of course the first game of the year this past season. His team, his two teams that has played against Georgia the last two times, between TCU and Clemson, has managed to score only 10 points while Georgia scored 99. Yeah, that makes you puke a little, or at least you're me. It's big for Clemson to go out and win this ball game. Yeah, it's the first game of the year. A lot of Clemson fans are okay with losing the first game of the year. They say they're not when you say that, but if I did not preface that and go, man, it's really bad we lose this first game of the year, then the excuses started rolling. I mean, and I'm sick of it. Clemson should beat LSU in Clemson, South Carolina, with our coaching that we have now, and that should not be up for debate. Am I guaranteeing it? No. But it should happen because LSU can't win an opener. And you're in Clemson. You have all these right pieces. Come on, Clemson. Step up, beat this team, and move through your schedule.
Beautiful. Well said. All right. Eight ACC games. And instead of breaking these down, I just want to ask the question: does any of these teams have a chance against Clemson for real?
Georgia Tech, Louisville. Georgia Tech, we're playing at Georgia Tech. Brent Key can coach. He has Haynes King back.
He can coach.
He can coach. And Haynes King is one of those guys. He may not win you a national championship, but he's going to win some games. Ask Georgia what a pain in the butt he is. Took him to 8 overtimes. Okay? Haynes King is a workhorse. And he's one of those guys that he'll sacrifice his body just to get the upset. And Brent Key is doing something special at Georgia Tech. I know it's not like playoff worthy, but they're a dangerous team. I call that a trap game for us. If we overlook Louisville, going to Louisville, Brom has proven he can coach. And he's not looking to just hang out and retire at his alma mater.
Ask me. I know.
Yeah. Brom can coach. So if Clemson farts around in either one of those two games, they may lose, and they have no business losing those games. I would say a second tier maybe would be SMU. I'm not buying into SMU. They come to Clemson. I think our defensive coordinator, when he met them with Penn State in the opening round of the college football playoff, the play that they did terrorize us with and almost beat us with, he immediately took away and turned, if my memory serves correct, turned it into 2 pick sixes. And they're like, oh my goodness, we did this to Clemson 2 weeks ago and we got away with it. And he's like, not so fast, my friend. He has some really good players on that defensive team, and I think he's going to do quite well against them.
Tom Allen can coach, buddy. I mean, he took an Indiana team, brought them into Columbus, Ohio, and took us within 7 points and had no business doing so.
Yeah.
He can coach. He can coach. All right. And then at the end of the year, Clemson, South Carolina versus South Carolina. I actually drove past South Carolina Stadium back in February.
I'm sorry.
And I was, when I drove by. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little surprised. I was like, "Oh, look, that's South Carolina Stadium," and it just out of nowhere, I was like, What am I doing?" By you can
Yeah.
see it from miles away, it's like across the field. Anyways, this is for those who are not Clemson or South Carolina fans. Describe this rivalry for us.
We just absolutely can't stand one another. I mean, it is what it is. You come to Clemson and you have this beautiful area. It's right out. The Clemson football stadium is right outside of Lake Hartwell. If you're sitting kind of near the upper deck or in the upper deck, you can look out. You can see the Blue Ridge Mountains with the lake in the background. It's beautiful. You go to South Carolina. You're talking about the stadium. The local PBS is right across the street. If you're lucky, you may get to see a rabid dog chewing on a dead squirrel.
Oh my gosh.
It's and at night it becomes Mad Max. Just don't go there. I mean, I've heard that there are unspeakable things. In fact, I've heard that the Epstein files are actually written
Oh,
on the inside of the porta potty at one of the South
wow.
Carolina.
Little
It's just
inside
there.
baseball going on here,
It's
folks.
just down. It's just down there. I just ticked off a bunch of people for mentioning that, but I'm just being stupid. It's just no, no. And I mean, they would have to beat Clemson for like the next 28 or 29 years just to tie the series. So, what can I say? I will say about this football team, just to talk about South Carolina. I have a lot of respect for Beamer and what he's done down there because it is really tough to win at South Carolina. It really is. They really have no tradition. That's not a Tiger talking. That's just the truth. And but Lenora Sellers can play. He can play. The interesting thing, put the asterisk beside this one, and remember this, my friend. Timestamp it. Dowell Loggins was his offensive coordinator the entire season. Dowell Loggins, at the end of the season, took the Appalachian State head coaching job up in Boone, North Carolina. By the way, it's beautiful up there. You should go check it out. Ask Michigan about Appalachian State. Anyway,
Oh,
yeah,
five.
but yeah, virtual high five. If my memory serves me correct, and I may be wrong here, I admit it. I'm pretty sure in that bowl game loss to Illinois that South Carolina had, Dowell Loggins didn't coach that. I'm pretty sure he didn't. I believe Mike Shula coached the offense. Now, could they work out something between then and in the season? Yes, absolutely. Maybe so. But it will be interesting to see how Lenora Sellers plays under or in this offense, even if they're similar. I get this all the time. Well, so and so runs a similar offense to so and so. Yeah, but so and so doesn't scheme like so and so, and that's a big deal. You can have similar offenses. You may even run a lot of the same plays, like 90% of them, but adjustments and when to call those plays, that's totally different. And Dowell Loggins, Gamecock or not, that guy could coach. He gave us nightmares. He gave us fits. He and Lenora Sellers went into Clemson and beat them this year. It will be interested to see that game in Columbia. It'll be interested to see how their season looks because if Lenora Sellers and his new OC gets on the same page and it's a good page, that could definitely be a problem game. But both teams have a lot of expectation for them after this past season, so it should be a good game. But I hope my Tigers comes out on top. I think overall they will.
No Miami on the schedule. Is that the team you think you'll be playing in the ACC championship game?
Probably.
Okay.
I think the Cam Ward led ACC or not ACC Miami team from last year, and I'm speaking kind of out of turn because I haven't looked totally at their roster. Cam Ward's Cam Ward. I mean, the guy can play. I just don't see Carson Beck doing what he did, doing what Cam Ward did. But Miami, they're definitely, it's us and them supposedly. I have a really good relationship with some Florida State fans. Florida State would just be happy to win 8 games this year, and they mean that. They're just like, if we can just get 8 games this year, just get past 24 in that debacle. That was crazy. I mean, serious. That still doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, that's who I see us playing at this point.
Okay. Last question about the schedule, and that's going to lead us into the expectations. What is the absolute basement floor here, looking at this team, looking at this schedule in your mind? And is 12-0 the ceiling? I think so, right?
Catastrophic to me would be losing 3 games. That's a catastrophic failure with the pieces we have coming back and the coaches we've brought on. And then the location of most of these big games, LSU, that's at Clemson. Syracuse can be a problem. Fran Brown did a good job this year with them. That's at Clemson. You have, and then you have some road games, but Clemson travels well too. But if Clemson loses 3 games this season, it's a catastrophic failure. Absolutely catastrophic failure. And quite frankly, there's no excuse that we'll be able to make up 3 losses in the regular season, definitely. 12-0 is definitely possible with this team. I just need to see that Riley is going to open up the playbook offensively, and I don't care about him opening up the playbook against Troy. You don't have to open up the playbook or be creative. Spot the ball, line up, beat them. Next game, please. You need to be creative in the games that you know that you're going to face some pushback, and that's LSU. So far at Clemson, Garrett Riley, or whoever is calling the plays. People said that Dabo had his hands tied and all this. Whatever the scenario is, Eric, and I'm tired of arguing with people about it. He has got to open it up because he has probably the best pieces that's been on Clemson's offensive side since Trevor was there. So, come on, man.
All right. Let's talk expectations now. You wanted to bring this up. We kind of did this in the pre-show.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do that. What should the expectations be for Clemson football from the fan base? What should they be?
Again, if someone doesn't have expectation of you, it's because they think you don't measure up. They don't think you can do it. Maybe you did it once, you can't do it again. You did it twice, that's good, but there's a lot of people who came back into coaching after having some success and they couldn't do it anymore. So I think that Swinney, something has changed, and I think that there's a lot of really good pieces here. So I expect you to use those pieces. I believe those pieces are there, and let's face it, the ACC is just not good. It's really not. So running through that, like bad sushi running through a bowel system, we should do that to the ACC. But we only have the biggest game is LSU and South Carolina, and we're not talking about the greatest Alabama team that's ever played. That's who we're playing, or the greatest Ohio State team that's ever played. That's who we're. I don't think that. I think they're good teams, but the expectation for me, I will spot you 1 loss. Where that loss will be, I really don't want to speculate. I'll spot you 1 loss, just for the heck of it, because as you said, we are in a different time. You can lose 2 games and get into the college football playoff and win a national championship. You know that. But my expectation is at least 11 wins, make a deep run into the college football playoff, and if you lose, let me rephrase that. If you lose, it was just because someone had to lose the game, and it was to a really good team. It's not Syracuse got lucky and beat us because we weren't paying attention. Excuse me? You weren't paying attention. Oh, LSU got us, but that's the first game of the year, and they're in the SEC. What? Are we doing that again? No. Go in, spot the ball, use what you have. Eric, you've watched my channel. You know me and my weird examples. If I go and I buy a Ferrari, I expect the performance of a Ferrari. I expect the luxury of a Ferrari. So if I pull up to a traffic light and an old man sitting in a 1997 Buick and he revs up at me and he burns me off the line, either A, I don't know how to drive, or B, that car is a piece of trash. Clemson has the pieces. It's time to drive this car. Drive it. It's a Ferrari. Let's go. So for me, I expect Clemson to win 11 games plus. I expect them to win the ACC because, well, it's the ACC. And notice I don't get giddy over that. I mean, it's the ACC is just not that tough. We all know it. And then I expect you to go into the college football playoff and make a solid run in it. If you don't win it, I hate that, but at least go in and win a couple of rounds. And if you lose to the team who wins the national championship and you lose to them by a field goal. That's more acceptable than, yeah, we got beaten when we played the first good team we played. What? So that's my expectation. It's a little crass to some, but for me, it's actually a compliment to you. You have the pieces, put them in place.
Expectations hold people accountable.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it creates pressure. It creates
Well, and pressure's a privilege. That's a C.J. Stroud quote. Pressure is privilege.
yeah.
So don't make excuses for it. That's kind of, as an Ohio State fan, that's kind of where we're at. No, I think those expectations are absolutely fair, 100%. Um, okay, some big picture items here.
Mm.
I got two big picture items I would like to address. The ACC, the talk has died down about the ACC imploding and Florida State and Clemson suing the conference to get out of the television rights and everything. You don't see nearly the amount of conversation about that nationally as you did this time last year. Where are we at in that in your mind? And is the ACC going to survive and be a part of the Power Four moving forward, or are we going to be revisiting this again, probably in a year or two?
I think we'll be revisiting this in about 5 years, and I'm going to be perfectly transparent with you and your viewers. I don't know all the ins and outs, the details of this, but I know that there's a certain timeline to where the buyout to leave was greatly reduced, and we could leave with our TV rights, if my memory serves me correct. And I think that's within like the next 5 to 6 years. And I think that gives all parties the option to figure out what needs to be done. And you and I, we can probably agree on that the realignment in college football, it's not done. I'm talking about across the board. We have the weirdness that I've been hearing. I haven't delved into it, but that's going on with the SEC and certain comments that have been made about them being in the NCAA. It's very interesting, but I think that Clemson and Florida State is in a much more favorable position than what they were before they sued. The way they sued was, I think, very interesting. Some people calls it a failure that they didn't get out. I think that they sued now, so they knew they probably had. This is my assumption that that they could just renegotiate on how much would be paid and how soon they could leave. Versus, I think it was like 2036. So that's 11 years from now. You cut that down to like 5 years from now, and it's and the amount to leave every year you get closer and closer to that 5 years, it drops. So the ACC to me is really, really interesting because we just had a really good baseball season for the ACC. Basketball is normally pretty good. Clemson has had 2 solid years for a Clemson team. But I really don't know the direction of the not the NCAA, but and I really don't know that one either. But the ACC, because to me, it's just kind of like the ACC and Big 12 is playing junior ball right now, and the Big 10 and the SEC, they made the the two mini super conferences, and so I think that Clemson and Florida State's in a better place because they renegotiated the timeline to exit and the money. But I mean, who really knows at this point?
Was there any concern Dabo Swinney was going to leave Clemson, South Carolina for Tuscaloosa, Alabama when Nick Saban retired? Yes or no? And do you believe Dabo's approach to NIL transfer portal was one of the reasons why he wasn't maybe considered?
If Nick Saban retired 2019ish, maybe. I think Alabama would have went after Dabo with everything. I would like to think that he would stay, but I'm a guy who is. I mean, I like to be in my home, in my area. I like to travel. I love to travel, but I also like to come home. And so I'm not going to say that Swinney wouldn't have went. I think that would be illogical and kind of reckless, and I would be seeing things through Clemson-colored glasses. When Nick Saban retired, I don't think that Alabama wanted him. And that's my opinion. I don't think that they wanted like you said, maybe the approach to NIL that he had. And there was also, a lot of people forgets that when Saban retired, it was on the heels of the 2023 season where Clemson had the worst season that they've had in 15 years or something like that. And Swinney had lost it on live radio, the call-in show, which is now a text-in show, which most shows are.
With that fan,
Yeah. The
that
the, the
guy's like
guy
a
from
legend, isn't he?
he is, and no one can find him. No one can find him. One news outlet claimed they found him, and he did an interview with them. But I put out an open call. I told him he could be anonymous. He didn't have to show his face on the show, and he never took it up. But Dabo was arguing with fans even before that because everybody's like, "Man, we're Clemson. We don't supposed to be losing games like this. We got the crap beat out of us by Duke. What are y'all doing?" And I think Alabama looked at that and went, "No, no." And so maybe it works out best for us Clemson fans since it seems like Swinney is turning his approach to the game and most of all coaching. I'm more worried about coaching than I am NIL. I will be very blunt about that because I've seen a lot of really good players out of high school bomb. I've seen that. But if you have really good coaches, they can take an average player and they can make them incredible. And then you get like 4-star players and they're trying to develop them. Man, they can do some great stuff. But I think that this could work out well for us Clemson fans if this is the case. But I just don't think that Alabama wanted that.
Fantastic. That is an interesting answer. Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of figured that's the way you were going to go with that, but
Yeah.
I'd throw high and tight in on you and see how you handle it.
I don't know if I went down swinging or if I hit a home run, but I swung, man.
You made contact. You made
I
contact.
made contact. Yeah.
That's what matters, man. Staying alive. Oh shoot. Hey Brian, where can people find you?
Well, please don't come to my house, but you can find me online. You can find me online on YouTube, Clemson Football Live. Drop a line and say hello to me. I don't care if you hate the look on my face. I'm desperate for subscribers. Just subscribe and then block me. Just don't unsubscribe. No, do come over there. I do talk about other teams as well. I've had you on, talked about Ohio State. Come over there and say hello and let me know that you saw me on the College Huddle.
If you are a Clemson fan or a Brian fan from Clemson Football Live, please subscribe to our channel as well. Brian would appreciate you doing that.
Yes, I would.
We are trying to grow the College Huddle. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before the season starts. That is our goal. To all you West Virginia folks who are watching this, if you're still watching this 45 minutes into this video, we a bunch of new West Virginia folks from the last video we did a couple videos ago. So appreciate all of you fine folks from Country Roads. And for those of you who are just a little bit further southeast of that in South Carolina, we would appreciate you being a part of the College Huddle as well as we try to grow our college football community. We love to have great conversations with podcast podcasters all across this country from coast to coast here at the College Huddle, just like this guy. And if
Oh
you
man.
can't remember how to find him, go over to thecollegehuddle.com, scroll over to the ACC. You don't have to scroll down very far to find Clemson. There you'll find the Clemson Football Live with all of his links to wherever you can find Brian, guys. So, Brian, appreciate your time, my man.
Eric, thanks for reaching out to me. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. I hate that your Buckeyes won the national championship, but congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thank you, man. Coming from a Buckeye who had to put up with you Clemson Tigers for a
Uh,
better part of a decade, beating up on us over and over and over again during the Urban era. So, yeah, it felt good, man. It felt good. One more thing. If I were to go to a Clemson football game and I wasn't wearing Ohio State stuff, I was wearing color orange.
that's smart.
Well, my alma mater in high school was orange, so maybe I put on some Mount Vernon High School stuff and blend in. Uh, and what chant or what thing does Clemson fans say to each other? Maybe when they're out and about, what kind of how would I blend in and fit in as a Clemson Tiger fan if I were to do such a thing?
First people just say "Go Tigers."
Okay.
That's it, and that's how I end every one of my programs is "Go Tigers." And then another thing that I just want to help you and the mass media understand how to properly pronounce Clemson. Notice I don't go Clemson, but I don't go Clemson or Clemson. It is a pet peeve of mine. It drives me nuts. I was watching the baseball tournament this past week, and my wife walks out, and she doesn't have a country voice like me. She has a neutral voice, and she goes, "Man, they butcher how to say Clemson. It's just weird." I don't know what it is, but you will stick out like a sore thumb if you go Clemson. Just Clemson. It's fast. It's almost like there's a passive P there, but not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I noticed that.
Clemson.
Have
Clemson.
I been saying
But
it wrong this whole time?
I can't say I haven't paid attention to it. And I will say
Okay.
this: if you have, it was so passive, it didn't bother me. But these announcers, oh my God, Sean McDonough, bless him, he'll go, taking the field is Clemson. And by the time he's done, my ears are bleeding from the cut. I'm like, anybody got any cotton balls? I'm dying here. And
Oh,
then, I mean, he called Dabo for
Dabo. I've heard that
Dabo
one.
for.
Dabo.
It's like, dude, like him or not, he did win 2 national championships in a
It
decently
is
relevant
Dabo
amount of time.
Swinney, right?
Dabo, yeah, his real name is William, but the story is either his brother or one of his family members, they were little, calling him. They were trying to say the boy or something like that, and it came out Dabo, and it stuck. So
Okay.
William Sweeney is his name,
It's not
but
Swinney. It's Sweeney.
Sweeney,
Okay.
yeah,
Dabo
it's
Swinney.
Sweeney,
All
yeah.
right.
Think Southern, think. I
All right.
won't say
I can, I
hillbilly.
can, I
Yeah.
can do now, buddy. I can do hillbilly.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
got there's that blood's in me, buddy.
Okay.
There's some Appalachian East Tennessee. Okay, that's in
Oh.
me. East
Okay.
Kentucky. Sorry, East Kentucky. Yeah, that's in me, brother. So
Okay.
yeah, I can do hillbilly. I always chuckle when you say Ohio State.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I love it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's just the accent, man. I mean, I realize I have this. I get it. I get it. It just blows me away when I hear some of these people. They mispronounce Clemson, and
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it's like if you go to like a city like I won't even say it. Norfolk, Virginia is not pronounced Norfolk. It's pronounced like you're saying a bad word.
Oh,
Think about it. Think about it. How
that
they
made
say
that That's why that song, Richmond north of Richmond. That's okay. I got you. I'm
Uh,
following you now.
so,
All right.
I guess what I'm trying to say here is, but does anyone correct them on that? They go, no, that's how the locals say it. You come
That's
down to
right.
Clemson, they're trying to correct us. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, come on, man.
Yeah. We've got one in Ohio too. It's Wooster, and everybody says Wooster, but it's
Uh-huh.
pronounced Worcester.
Oh, okay,
Not like
okay.
rooster. Everybody's a rooster, Wooster. It's Worcester. But anyways, there's a
Yeah,
lot of Indian names in Ohio, which Ohio means mighty river. So yeah,
I
we
got
have
you.
to. That's how it goes. Oh, Brian, it's been fantastic, my man. I appreciate you so much. Looking forward to connecting with you again, guys. Let us know what you think about what we think down in the comments section below. We do want to hear from you. And again, all you Clemson fans who watch this, please subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you very much. Brian, if we don't talk to you before the beginning of the season, good luck. Have a great season. We will catch up again. Until next time, go Tigers.
Go Tigers.